Alright, today we pick up with LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson, and the Americanization of the Vietnam War, 1965 to 1968. When Johnson becomes president, this war is no longer going to be just a South Vietnamese war as it was intended by JFK. Instead, it becomes our war. It becomes an American war, and so that's the Americanization of it. The major issue behind this war for Johnson, however, is our credibility, American credibility. Can we protect our allies? Can we make the world safe for democracy? Can we protect it from communism? And so he is going to escalate the United States' involvement in Vietnam for that reason, for specifically that reason. So, how is he able to do this? It comes about with something called the Tonkin Gulf Resolution. On August 2nd, 1964, there was reports that a North Vietnamese boat attacked a U.S. battleship, the USS Maddox. On August 4th, just 2 days later, 1964, the USS Maddox, again, and the USS Turner J are going to report enemy torpedoes being launched at them. And this is an alleged report. There was nothing really officially put in. Well, in response to this, because we are being attacked then, Johnson is going to launch bombing strikes on the North Vietnamese in retaliation for this. And then he is going to have a resolution that is passed by Congress. It's not a declaration of war, just like in Korea, we do not have a declaration of war. But this is going to instead grant the president very broad military powers to repel any attacks on U.S. forces. It's basically a protection measure for our troops. It says that he has the ability to take all necessary measures to repel any armed attack against the forces of the United States and to prevent further aggression. Now, what's kind of interesting is this document was made up in advance. He just needed the right situation to get it passed through Congress. So we were just basically sitting back and waiting for U.S. targets to be attacked. And so then he's able to get this pushed through. Again, it's not a declaration of war. It is instead a protection measure for our troops, that we are protecting them from possible attack. After the Tonkin Gulf Resolution, Operation Rolling Thunder will be put into play. It's called Operation Rolling Thunder because it's supposed to sound like a continuous storm, thunder rolls all the time kind of thing. It's supposed to be one continuous explosion. It's sustained bombing on North Vietnam. This is not retaliatory, so they haven't attacked us. We're not attacking them because they've attacked us. It is purely that it's a measured attack. It's graduated escalation on our part. We are going to bomb the crap out of them, and then we're going to pause for a little while to let them think about it and possibly negotiate with us. And it lives up to its name of Operation Rolling Thunder. If you look at just 1965, 3,800 sorties are sent out, and a sortie is a separate mission by individual planes. So 3,800 planes are sent out during the duration of 1965 over North Vietnam, and it does cause a lot of damage, and it causes them to really rethink their strategy. Eventually, we do get some ground troops there. To protect our air bases for the most part, and we are forced to fight a war in the jungle. Now, the American advantage in the jungle is that we do have superior weapons. The disadvantage, however, is that we are fighting in jungle terrain, something we are very unfamiliar with, and we're fighting an enemy who uses guerrilla tactics, something we are not used to either. We're not trained for that. The enemy fighting style was not a face-to-face combat, let's see who kills the most people and whoever wins, wins. That is not their strategy. Instead, their fighting style is more of a hit and run. They ambush, they're able to set up booby traps and landmines, and they're able to move within the population. Americans can't do that. They can easily pick out who the Americans are, but we can't pick out who the North Vietnamese are very easily. And they also have a very elaborate tunnel system that they use, and that is, again, to their advantage. Now, Johnson's political constraints with this is that he's not only dealing with Vietnam, he's also got to deal with the rest of Southeast Asia, which includes Cambodia and Laos. Now, Cambodia and Laos were neighbors of Vietnam, and they were neutral countries. But in order to effectively launch an attack against the North Vietnamese, we needed to be able to use their land or their airspace. And if they weren't going to let us do that, do we invade? Do we take them over, essentially, and then launch our attack on North Vietnam? Well, North Vietnam is going to be backed by the Soviet Union. They're going to be backed by China, so they have a lot of different things coming in. They are getting a lot of ammunition and a lot of weapons. In the U.S., however, we are trying to decide how are we going to spend our money. We have the Guns and Butter campaign, and Johnson has to figure out, are we going to focus on our war in Vietnam, or are we going to focus on our war on poverty in the U.S.? And he doesn't want the war to get so big that it takes away from the home front programs that he created with the Great Society.